Yeah, certainly appears that way, at least from our vantage point. The rear windows are very heavily tinted, but as we peer through that front windshield, it does appear that the passenger seat is empty, and as you see in that wide shot, CHP actually having to pull back slightly, but now as he makes that U-turn, it makes it much easier for them to make the U-turn with him, and they will be going now back in the opposite direction. Very peculiar though, you have to wonder, why does he make this U-turn? Is he familiar with this section of Compton? Is he looking for another place to either dump the vehicle or a residential street to hide out? It doesn't seem like he's going to get very far. He is outnumbered here, and the charges, as we've talked about, are so serious. It's just hard to imagine. Especially at these speeds. I mean, it's really not a big obstacle for CHP to keep up with them at these moderate speeds. But some of the dangerous driving we're continuing to see is certainly going to be, it's going to make for an interesting ending to this pursuit, to say the least, I venture to say, Mark. Yep. It's almost, you definitely, yeah, you get that mouse sense mentality. He got off of Rosecrans onto Willowbrook, then turned around and just made a very random U-turn. So now seen three successive U-turns. Here comes a possible pit maneuver. He is certainly doing right about the ideal speed for a pit maneuver. Now, of course, he's going to speed up a little bit, but that was a great opportunity there, and you can see there's not a lot of other collateral in the way here, so a perfect area to execute a pit if they have the opportunity. Fishtail the vehicle out of control, but there he is. He's coming out the other end there, now pulling back onto, looks like he's back on Alameda, so he's going, yeah, he's back on Alameda. It doesn't look like they made contact with him. You thought for a second they were going to pull up right behind him and execute that pit, but it does not look like they made contact with the rear. Boxed in here, look at this. Oh, they're doubling on the line. Through another red light here, going around all that traffic, no cross traffic. They're going to make it with them. So a right turn now onto Compton Boulevard, where there was a stale red, but no traffic, fortunately. And there's the night sun. That is LA County Sheriff's night sun, shining a light on him again, giving him all the awareness he needs to know that he has eyes on him from every angle imaginable. Look at this. Railroad tracks, do they go through the railroad tracks with them? 1, 2, potentially a third. Look at them all going through the railroad crossing as the gates are about to drop. Almost that, I mean, this has a video game feel to it, Mark, and some of these drivers, in many cases, act as if they are in the middle of a video game, and certainly some of the stuff we're seeing here tonight gives you that feel. But anyways, they all made it through the railroad crossing with him. The gates were about to come down. Now he's on one of these side streets. We'll see if he decides to dump the vehicle. Again, this was a stolen vehicle, and when it's a stolen vehicle, you never know how much gas is in the tank. It could be a full tank, it could be a quarter tank or less, and then he starts running out, and then he has to look for a spot to just run for it. Just get the feeling this guy is not going to come out with his hands up, but we could be wrong, and hopefully he does. In any event, these side streets provide lots of hiding opportunities if he doesn't. And so they will have plenty of units in the area with the assistance of LA County Sheriff to form a perimeter if he starts to hide out. But now he's on an alleyway. Again, all CHP here that we're looking at. But again, you have to imagine that the Sheriff's Department is working their way into the area because they are going to need some help here in the event they have to form a containment area or a perimeter. Yeah, a little more commercial area here, but it's worth mentioning he was on Compton Boulevard, then zigzagged his way through that residential neighborhood for no reason whatsoever, only to end up back on Compton Boulevard, which again sends that message that he's really making it up as he goes along, no clear destination in mind, and certainly a high probability that he is looking for a hiding spot. In any event, now turning off of Alameda onto, or off of Compton rather, onto Central Avenue, and also relatively light traffic here with all of those initial units still behind him. At some point here, would not be surprised to see them hand this off to the local CHP office. I believe these units are all out of LA, but in any event, they are all still right behind him, not giving him much room to play with. The one thing that's very fortunate that we can say is that throughout this pursuit, traffic is relatively light. Right back where we joined you just a few minutes ago, right back on Rosecrans Avenue. He's westbound Rosecrans, yep. So he's now, getting closer. He's making his way sort of out of Compton, actually. So he's more towards the 110 freeway now. He'll be in Gardena here in just a few more lights. You just read my mind. I wasn't sure if it was a reflection or if that part of that bumper is actually making contact with the asphalt, but there are some sparks there coming from the undercarriage underneath that front bumper. Again, to recap, that front bumper was damaged during a collision with CHP and then subsequently through some fencing. He ran right through a fence and damaged the vehicle there. So that appears to be what's making contact with the asphalt. That front bumper is still hanging on there. In any event, you see some more sparks there actually under that front right wheel as well. So yeah, we don't know what other damage might have occurred there underneath the vehicle, but in any event, it certainly seems like it's plenty drivable, and it's just a matter of how much fuel I think is left in there. But in any event, he's now on Figueroa Street, northbound Figueroa. Am I right, Rob? No, we're going north. Yeah, northbound Figueroa at about 50 miles per hour. And again, all of those primary units now making a turn with them through the red light at Redondo Beach Boulevard. So now a westbound turn, making the left onto Redondo Beach Boulevard. Once again, light traffic to contend with here, but lots of warehouses. It's a pretty industrial area before you get closer to the residential part of town, and lots of hiding spots in the event that he chooses to dump the vehicle. In any event, they are all still right behind him here as he, does about 35, 40 miles per hour, giving them a great chance to set up for another pit. Everything changed in that moment. Everything changed for him because there's no way, not only is there no way they're going to let him get very far, but the amount of force that will show up at the end of this pursuit, as we are now so accustomed to seeing, is going to be immense. They will spare no expense at bringing him into custody. So He's not going to get very far. I don't know how much time the vehicle has left on it, but in any event, you can see they are ready. There are some other local municipalities in the area that may also help out at the end here. Now, CHP is very, very particular. They do not want anybody's help. If they are the lead agency, they will